Hi, this is Bob and Ray. Bob, Ray, and back again just to tell you a little bit of a story today. Want to talk a little bit about our first trip down to the Everglades. What? How'd that happen? How'd we get there?
Well, I helped you build some raised beds for your garden, and you wanted to pay me back with a fishing trip. And I don't like going out of the continental U.S., so you booked us a trip into the Florida Everglades.
Yeah, I have a friend that works with Orvis, and he gave me the name of a captain down there by the name of Captain Jason Sullivan, and he was busy, so he referred us to Captain Mark Giacoba, and so I called him up. We got a couple days down there, and took off, and that was our first trip really out of the area.
It was, other than I think we took one trip to Montana prior to that, but that was our first trip to the Everglades.
Yeah, and gosh, we took off early in the morning. It was dark 30. Everything, it's before daylight, and we had about an hour drive to get to where the boat launch was, and we took off just with all kinds of expectations of which we had no idea what we were getting into. And what was the first thing Mark told us after we met him?
He cautioned us about a crocodile that hangs out underneath the dock.
Yeah, told us to be careful. So we immediately turned on the lights on our phones and ran down to see if we could find him.
Nobody's ever accused us of being too smart.
so so after we found him, spent a little time there, Mark got us in the boat, and we started the adventure.
Yeah, we went flying down this man-made canal, dark, couldn't hardly see a thing, and
It's a pretty narrow canal too.
it's pretty narrow, and he was flying. Maybe not that fast, but it sure seemed like it to me. My thought was, oh gosh, what did we get ourselves into here?
Yeah, we're hanging on to hats and everything, just make sure we end up fully clothed at the end.
But then we got to the end of the canal and broke out into a big bay, and the sun was just coming up, and it was absolutely beautiful.
That's one of my favorite times of all the things all the times that I've been down there. That's one of my favorite deals, is coming out of that canal into the bay and just seeing that sunrise. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's really pretty. And that particular day, the water was pretty flat, no wind, and Mark just kind of stopped and kind of took a lay of the land from there before we got going, and then we started motoring across the to the other side of the bay, and in this little kind of cove, and out in the middle there was some tarpon rolling for air, which is the first time we'd seen that. So we didn't know why we were excited, but we were excited. Mark had his cast over there, and I was up fishing, and gosh, hooked a really nice fish and landed it, and it just did nothing but add to the excitement of the trip.
How big was that fish?
I swear he was 100 pounds.
Yeah, yeah. Probably in reality it was around 40 pounds. But I tell you, when they first come out of the water, it is so amazing, and they make such a dramatic explosion that you swear the fish is 3 times as big as what it actually is.
Yeah, and and then we took and had from there, we kind of moved in a little closer to the shore along the mangroves, and boy, the edge of the mangroves were just alive.
There was fish coming up all over the place, rolling on the water and coming up for air is what they're doing. And we chased a lot of fish that day.
Yeah, numbers wise, it was just all day catching fish, catching tarpon, and a variety of sizes. And you hooked a pretty nice one.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
in there, and actually several nice ones, but one really nice, uh, which of course was really really fun and exciting, and we just it was, I can't say enough about how exciting it was, and how much action there was that day. And you know, there was that one that was like a long jumper that
Yeah,
you hooked.
that was the one that Mark pointed out, one rolling way back in this little bay, little cove, and it said it was about 90 feet back to it. And I thought, man, I can't cast that far. But I got up there and managed to get it all the way back in the cove. And by the time I got it in there, that fish had moved out off to the right a little bit. So I recasted and dropped it right in there where he was at, and a couple of strips, and hooked him up, and that thing come out of the water. You remember that fish?
I don't have to remember because I got it on video.
It's it went laterally across the water like, I don't know, 10, 12 feet, 15 feet, and of course spit the fly out. But it was a very memorable fish.
Yeah, that was quite a day.
Yeah.
That we had, and we've had some tremendous days that we want to share with everybody down there, and you know, really all over the place. And we've got a lot of video to share, and you know, there's kind of that video's got its negatives and positives, because actually they're both positive. Well, you know, it's positive because of a couple things. One is we probably wouldn't remember it if we didn't have the video, you know, so it helps us remember. We get to do it again. We get to live it all over, you know. It probably brings a little truth to our stories. Our mind has, at least my mind has a tendency to expand the size of the fish and that. But anyway, we've got a lot to share with everybody. Gosh, I think on that first trip we caught 15, 17 different species. It was, I mean, we just bringing fish out of there. We didn't know what they were.
We were catching fish one right after another, and for quite a while, every one of them was different than the last one.
Yeah, so
I think 17 different species we caught.
So anyway, we'll show some of those as we go forward, and show a lot more of our trips and our journey and the fun that we've had, and really appreciate you sharing with us and with Bob and Ray Fishing Through Life. And don't forget to subscribe and like. For some reason that seems to be important. And we'll be seeing you in the next video. Quit kicking the stand, Bob.